The Gulls Nest is on the air. It's time for a weekly dose of Seaside High School athletics with the Gulls Nest. If it happens on the field, in the pool, or on the court, you'll hear it here. The Gulls Nest is sponsored by Ocean Crest Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac.
Good evening and welcome to the Gulls Nest. Jason Boyd here with head football coach Chad Smith. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
The Gulls Nest is brought to you by Ocean Crest Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac, home of the lifetime warranty.
We also want to thank our participating sponsors, Seaside Factory Outlets and Angelina's Pizzeria and Cafe.
So we just want to let you folks know that right now the girls just kicked off their soccer match in the Clatsop Clash with Astoria here at Broadway Field at 5:45, and you can still get down here and watch that match, and then check out the boys match, which will be following approximately 7:30. This is an OSAA endowment contest, which means that it's a fundraiser for the OSAA's fund to help support those student athletes that are in need. And so there is admission at tonight's match. That's $4 for students, $6 for adults. For those of you that are on the road on your way to Tillamook to watch the Seagulls take on the number 4 ranked Tillamook Cheesemakers in volleyball, good luck tonight, and hopefully the Seagulls can come away with a big win there. So, Coach, let's focus on a little football. Last week we traveled to Yamhill Carlton, and we talked a lot so far this year about you opening up the offense and running more of a spread, wanting to throw the ball. And we knew that YC had played a couple other opponents and thought that would be a pretty good matchup for us. We come away with a 30-6 win. Offense seemed to be a real key for us. Give us some of the highlights.
In the first quarter, I think we had 3 passing touchdowns. One was a screen, and 2 were just quick passes to our receivers. They caught the ball and made plays. So at the end of that first quarter, we went for 2 every time. We were up 24-0 on 3 passing touchdowns. We didn't, gain a lot of yards, but we did what we needed to do to get the ball in the end zone. Our defense stepped up and giving up 6 points. And really it was 0 points until, 4 minutes or so in the fourth quarter. So defense came up and they played a great game and stopped YC's offense and made it tough for them to move the ball down the field.
So, you put yourself in a position where you're up 3 scores fairly early. And, of course, we really haven't been in that position with this particular group of kids yet. As a coach, what are you doing to make sure that the mindset stays on task at hand and not starting to celebrate too early? Because, like you said, we got a really young group. They're experiencing basically a big lead with lots of game time left. That's exciting from one standpoint, but from a coaching standpoint, it's like, okay, we don't want to get in hold on mode, but yet we don't want to be super aggressive where we make a mistake that's going to, lead to scores for them and then basically blow a lead. So how do you address that with your team?
We just kind of talked to our guys about being positive and not letting up. We talked to them about there's still a lot of game left. I think in that second quarter we started to possibly lose some focus mentally. YC, became a little chippy in the game, and I think that took our focus away from the game. Our kids didn't react to that, which was a good moment for us, but they let that affect them in between the whistles on, running the correct routes. We had some penalties. In that second quarter we were kind of going the wrong way. Kind of beating ourselves with penalties, and so that's something we need to work on. And like we said, this is a young team, and so we're going to continue to coach that and try to stay focused throughout the entire game.
Not to focus on the negative, but you talked about kind of going the wrong way, and when you see that kind of snowballing, are there specific things? Did you go to your captains? Did you go to your assistant coaches? Did you take the reins and say, hey, guys, let's refocus. What specifically were you able to do to get them going? Or did just halftime come and you're able to, okay, that's done, put it to bed, and let's go back out and play the third quarter?
We used all 3 of our timeouts, I believe, in that second quarter. We tried to calm guys down and talk to them about continue to play hard and be focused in the game. And then again, we did make some adjustments at halftime. we're up 24-0, which is for these guys is a big lead, and we want to talk about, if we can score 24 points in a half, so can they. So we need to stay focused. We need to continue to kind of keep the pedal down and do those things.
Okay, so then you come out in the third. I mean, you have a great first quarter. Second quarter's not as productive. Come out in the third quarter and we're really looking at trying to get things going again. The scores aren't happening. Is that more YC stepping up a little bit, or were we just a little less effective in what we were doing?
I think it's probably a combination of both. I'm sure their coach had a good talk with them at halftime, and I'm sure they made some adjustments, but we continued to make some of those mental mistakes. It wasn't as many as the second quarter, but that's something, especially with this young group as they get more experience, like we've talked about before. Some of these guys have only played 3 varsity games now, so and most of them are sophomores. So a lot of these kids are kind of learning on the go, and they're put in positions that they wouldn't normally play, but some of the circumstances that we have, that's where we've asked them to play. So the kids came out ready to play in the first quarter, but we kind of had that let things that we can't control kind of affect us, and so that's something that we always talk about. Just worry about the things that we can control. Well,
kind of that 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward. Eventually, you're going to get to where you need to go. It's that learning process. But all in all, a great win for the Gulls. Something on the road. So now you've got to win at home. You've got to win on the road, on grass even. You're looking at 2-game winning streak to go into league. I mean, it really kind of sets up our group for hopefully some confidence going into what is a tough league in the Kawapa when it comes to football. So we come back, we'll talk about our first league matchup. Don't forget to come on down and watch the boys and girls soccer match tonight here at Broadway Field.
Stand by for more with Jason Boyd and the Gulls Nest next on 102.3 KCRX. Now, back to the Gulls Nest on 102.3 KCRX.
Welcome back to the Gulls Nest. Jason Boyd here with head football coach Chad Smith. The Gulls Nest is sponsored by Ocean Crest's never-ending quest to provide a better customer service experience, and they have raised the bar with their lifetime powertrain warranty on virtually every vehicle they sell, new or used. Ocean Crest Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac off Highway 101 in Warrenton, home of the lifetime warranty. So, Coach, we get to open up Kawapa League, and for the first time in, a decade at least, we get to open with Scappoose. Usually we're finishing with them. So, and it's our place. The weather forecast is not looking so hot right now. Not necessarily super conducive for the passing offense, but I think the weather is going to taper off, and the storm will basically pass through by about 2 o'clock, and we'll get some clear skies to be able to play. What do you look at when you're going into Scappoose? What's the things the Seagulls have to do to get a win?
I think we have to continue to get better at what we do. What we talked about, worry about the things we can control. We can't control how good or bad the other team is, how the refs are doing, the weather conditions. So we have to really focus on ourselves. Like you said, we're a young team. Scappoose is predominantly a great football program. And they've got some great players. They've got great size, great speed, and so it's going to be a good challenge for us to come out and see, kind of how we match up against a great football team.
So Otto had a really good passing attack night against Yamhill Carlton, but he's questionable for this Friday's game with Scappoose. So are you going to go with Braden Johnson as your quarterback, or do you have something else up your sleeve?
Braden Johnson's been taking the reps. He's going to start the game for us, and he started our first game, and he's had some reps in some other games. But like we talked about, this is going to be a new challenge for us. We're starting our league, and our league is a great football league, and so it'll be great for him to get some of that experience, and kind of see how he does against that type of competition.
Right. So what else do you need to do then, obviously, besides have a good passing attack? Are your running backs in good shape? Are we ready to go? You're going to have to probably run the ball a little bit just so Scappoose isn't blitzing you every time and matching up on the corners with that kind of over-the-top safety look. So what are you planning to do in order to counteract that probably overly aggressive defense?
our goals always are, to be able to run the football, be able to stop the other team from running, protect our quarterback, and kind of limit turnovers. So those are kind of our three main goals. My goal as an offensive coordinator is always try to establish the run, and so we will do that. We have a couple of different running backs that we can put in there. We'll try to establish a run. We always have, our screen game, which has been successful for us, when teams want to blitz. And so we'll continue to work on that and add some new wrinkles to some of our screens and try to relieve some of that pressure when they send 5-6 guys.
Well, Cameron King's had a good season so far as one of your running backs, and Garrett Kaiser's now back and in the backfield. He seems to be really productive for you. So you kind of have a 1-2 punch there as you're waiting for Astor to recover from his ankle injury. The screen pass kind of seems to be that big hitter for you guys.
Right.
Is that something that you guys practice maybe a little more often, or is it just because of the way our line is right now and how defenses are just being overly aggressive that it just happens to be kind of it's going to work because of the situation you're in, not as opposed to that you guys are just super efficient at running it?
When we practice, we always have about a 10-minute screen session where we just go against air to make sure we have the timing down, and we're not just working that one screen, we're working all of our screens. And so that's something we do often. It's good to have different size backs in the backfield. That helps us a lot. It's easier for us to try to wear down defenses when we do establish that run.
Absolutely.
And so it's a good kind of change up for us to have. Like I said, we've added some more screens, and so we'll continue to add as we go on. Okay.
So what do you look at as far as defensively? What do you need to do to stop Scappoose? I mean, what are their big threats?
They're really big up front. They like to throw the ball. Their offense is similar to ours, where they run some quick screens, some jet run plays where they run to the outside with the receiver. And so we're just going to have to be, keep being aggressive, keep making plays in the backfield, and making sure that if it's run, that we don't get sucked into the backfield and cover the receivers, because if not, they're going to hurt us.
Right. Now, psychologically, you go up against Scappoose, who has, last year they had 100 kids out for football and 4 teams, and this year they've got 3 teams, just tons and tons of kids. So their next man up philosophy works really, really well for them, whereas it's a little bit of a drop off for us sometimes when we have the next man up just because of lack of numbers. What are you doing to combat that psychological with our kids to get them to believe that they are going to be competitive and have a chance to win this game?
I think that it helps us that we've won 2 games here. We got a little confidence that way, but we really try to focus on, like we talked about before, on getting better ourselves and not focus so much on the other team. It's important to know what the other team's going to line up and some of the things they like to do, but we don't want to put all of our energy into what the other team does. We want to focus on ourselves, get better every day, and get better at the things that we do, and kind of see where the chips fall.
Well, Coach, thanks a lot for coming in. Remember, you can come out and watch the Gulls as they host Scappoose Friday night, 7 o'clock, Broadway Field. It's going to be an exciting opportunity to cheer on our kids as they open up league against Scappoose. Coach, good luck, and can't wait for Friday night.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
When we come back, we'll talk more Seaside Athletics.
Stand by for more with Jason Boyd and the Gulls Nest next on 102.3 KCRX. Now, back to the Gulls Nest on 102.3 KCRX.
Welcome back to the Gulls Nest. Jason Boyd here, Athletic Director, Seaside High School. Just recapping some of the events last week. The 3-course challenge out at Camp Rylea on Saturday. The runners started with a middle school race there at 9 a.m. and then 10 a.m. we started our high school racing. Basically, the way that particular event works is a high school team is divided up into their top 6 runners. 2 runners would run the easy course, which is just under 5,000 meters. 2 runners run the medium course, which is 5,000 meters, which is a typical high school distance, but the terrain might be a little more difficult. And then the hard course or difficult course is also 5,000 meters. but the terrain is quite a bit more difficult. And they take the combined scores from those 6 runners, and then that determines who wins. So our boys finished in first place in their division. If you take their times and put it across all the divisions, and we have schools coming in with over 3,000 kids down to schools with 100 kids, so we divide them up based on the number of kids in their schools in divisions. Our boys would have finished first or second in every single division out there, so they really had a great race. Their score was 99 points, and it's kind of like golf. You want a low score. 99 points in their division, and the next closest team was 361 points. So they had a pretty good sweep on that, basically that 4A division. Our girls had a great finish. They finished 6th in their division, which was fantastic for them, as Coach Branson and Katie Zagata and Josie Smith, really leading that group and building on to try to get back to the state tournament later on in November. Seaside Kids Incorporated is having their annual pancake feed on October 11th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Seaside Convention Center. You can get tickets actually tonight. Seaside Kids has some of its youth representatives at the soccer match here at Broadway Field, and you can purchase tickets there. Or tomorrow night at the football game, 7 o'clock, Seaside's hosting Scappoose, Broadway Field. You can purchase tickets also there. If you are interested, you can always stop by Carpet Corner in Gearhart to purchase tickets, or call Seaside High School, ask for me, and I can get you in touch with tickets to that event. I just want to remind everybody that Seaside Kids is a nonprofit organization that provides activities for youth. This is their 60th year of existence, and they have continually, for the last 60 years, provided opportunities for kids in football, volleyball, basketball at times, swimming, golf, wrestling, baseball, and softball, all free to the kids of the Seaside School District community. So it's just a fantastic organization, and really like to see some support by the community as usual at that pancake feed. Girls volleyball in Coapa League action has not started off the way they wanted to. They dropped 3-1 to Scappoose last week, then started their home league campaign against the number 4 ranked Valley Catholic Valiants on Tuesday. Ended up falling 3-0. In the second set, the girls had a late lead in towards the end of the set there, ended up losing 26-24. It was a really well-played match for the most part by our kids. A couple of errors here and there, and as Coach Huntsman is constantly telling me, we're getting better and better every day. It's just a matter of being more and more consistent. We've got the kids that can compete at the highest level in the state. It's just a matter of having some consistency there. So tonight they travel to the number 3 ranked Tillamook Cheesemakers, as I mentioned earlier, and hopefully, coming out with a big win there, that would really help the Gulls in their position league-wise. Currently, they're in 5th in league with just only 2 matches under their belt, but they are ranked 13th in the state, and the way the state playoffs work at the 4A level is the top 1, 2, and 3 teams in your league are guaranteed an opportunity in, and then if you have a ranking that is high enough to get you basically in the top 24, you can get in. This year, the Coapa League's teams they have 5 ranked in the top 14, and Seaside's ranked 13th. So it's looking really good for the Gulls as far as postseason, but I know they're really focused on league and want to get one of those top 1, 2, or 3 guaranteed spots and not have to rely on any rankings. So just a reminder, come on down right now, catch out the second half here of the girls OSAA endowment match against our cross-county rivals, the Astoria Fishermen, and then the boys will kick it off here at 7:30 in their version of the Clatsop Clash. Also want to welcome the newest coach to the Siegel family. Shane Spell is our new head swim coach. Shane comes to us from our local community here. He's been a very active member with Young Life and working with the youth of Clatsop County for many, many years. and has a great swimming background, coaching at the youth level and a high school swimmer. And I know his excitement, knowledge of the sport, and ability to inspire kids to do their best is going to really help out our swim program. And just so excited that Shane Spell is part of our staff. Go Goals!
Thank you for tuning in to the Gulls Nest, a weekly look at Seaside High School athletics. Join us Thursdays at 6 p.m. The Gulls Nest on 102.3 KCRX, sponsored by Ocean Crest Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac.